Of course, there's an assumption that I'm apolitical, but I'm not entirely sure that's true. Parents use me against their children as a staunch conservative Republican, but I'm really more of a staunchly conservative liberal. I believe that children should be respectful towards adults, and I believe that parents should always have the last say, but I also believe that we are never more creative than we are when we're children, and that the true artists are the ones who find a way to become adults without losing that ability to face potential failure without fear. To, be able to fuck up and walk away, just cry for a couple minutes and get on with your life. That seems to go away around the same time they disappear from my list. So, while I can't legally vote, it matters to me who's in power. I don't want to live in a world without artists. I consider myself extremely lucky to have been left out of the whole masturbation issue for all these years. Parents have tied Santa Claus to just about every deviant behavior you can imagine with the whole better not pout thing, but I have never had a child sit on my lap and ask me if it was okay to yank his unit. I'm not even really sure what I would say. I mean, you figure, I'm not doing a whole lot 11 months out of the year, so I've been known to rub one out here and there. I mean, there's no woman in my life, and the help tends to give me privacy, so what the hell? I mean, I'm not saying in front of the school choir or in the middle of a church service, but let's talk about victimless crimes here. Half of you are going to take one single thing out of all of this. Santa Claus jacks off. You're not going to hear another word I say. So, let's take a brief moment of silence and let you process that information. And pretty ladies who were wondering, I am magic from head to toe. So anyway, my politics are odd and relatively private, but they do exist. I should have stepped out 35 years ago and said something. Back then I might have had a fighting chance. Kids weren't so spoiled and jaded. They were happy with what they got. That fucking Coca-Cola guy in Rockwell have everybody thinking I'm all jolly and gray-bearded. So even if I do admit who I am, nobody will ever believe me. You talk about a fucking hassle. I had an off-duty Pittsburgh Cop confront me one night while I was dropping off a Barbie for his dog. 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's pissed drunk sitting in front of the fireplace crying. Well, he drew his revolver on me and tried to bat me against the wall. You can't shoot Santa Claus, and I don't like to be fucked with, so obviously that didn't go well for me. I always thought maybe that 3 weeks in the hospital might have done some better. But you can't justify that many contusions by saying you fell down. But you also can't go to the emergency room and say that Santa Claus snatched a gun from your hand and beat your ass. So you gotta look for something in between. Something not quite the truth, not quite a lie. You go over that in your head thousands of times looking for holes, inaccuracies. When you finally think you got it, you try it out on maybe some of your more gullible colleagues and friends. Then, when it's honed, you prepare yourself to present that story to the public. Then, at that last moment, right as those words are about to come out of your mouth, you realize that you got your ass beat by Santa And what you say is that you were drinking and somebody broke into your house and snuck up behind you and knocked you unconscious and you don't remember a thing. And the boys down at the precinct label you as a drunk and a pussy, and they're right on both counts. So maybe I did him a favor by exposing that. Maybe he went and got some help. Yeah, I know I need to control my temper. I make it sound like I was always beating on people, but it really wasn't like that. Like, just because a person chooses not to tolerate violence doesn't mean that they don't prefer peace. You know, because I'm not some fucking hippie with flowers in my hair and peace signs on my vest doesn't mean I'm not a pacifist. You all want Santa to be this definition of happiness, this vision of goodness that you can use as a point of reference for all the truly shitty people you meet in life. This idea of fireplaces and families and cider. But you also want him to be this soulless, ethereal perfection who is untouched by regular human emotion. You want to be able to spit on me when you're angry and call me a cocksucker and still have me bring you a PlayStation on Christmas. I'm asking you, can you imagine how difficult that is for me? Because the truth is, I do feel, from the second that they're born almost, in endless surges and drifts, I feel every bump and every bruise, every hunger pang and every slap to the side of the head. I feel them all at once, and yet I can distinguish each one from the one right next to it. I can take Sally Hinkle's tonsillitis and wrap it around Timmy Basden's broken leg in a nice little bow. The pain is constant, and my awareness of it crawls into my sleep, except for one day a year. One day when everybody is content. One day when I can breathe normal. So who am I really doing it for? Is it truly an act of altruism and kindness? Or is it really just a desperate, screaming, slobbering plea for a single day of peace? You know, I just realized I'm phrasing a lot of things as questions, and I guess I don't really want you to yell the answers out right now, but I do want you to know that they're not rhetorical.